Hey guys, this is Doug Giles. Welcome back to Creative Restorations. And let's see, today's video is going to be a little bit different than most of my videos. We've got something akin to a podcast. Unfortunately, I don't have the capabilities of doing it live, so this one will be recorded. Um, and let's see, in today's video, we're going to have Preston Soto of the Elegant Oxford, along with Steve Dudoklian of BEDO'S Leatherworks. We've actually got Preston on the line already. Say hi, Preston.
Hey, everybody.
So, how's things been going with you, Preston?
Everything's going great. Just been a little bit busy. My wife's, well, I guess I'm going to announce it here. My wife's pregnant and our baby's due in May, but she's been really, really sick. She's had morning sickness all day, and it's just left me with little time to do a lot of stuff. So I've been taking care of my daughter during the day, and it's just been really busier than normal. She's feeling better now.
Well, let me be the first one to say both congratulations, and I'm sorry she's been going through the morning sickness, but congratulations on the new baby.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a boy.
Yeah, oh, you already know what it is.
Yeah, we actually we're like, let's not announce until we know the gender, and we found out last week.
Awesome.
And we're gonna take a picture and do a gender reveal, but I guess it's coming out here first.
Well, well, you heard it, guys. This is the first time. No, I don't think. Well, I don't know that many of your wife's family are going to be watching my videos, so
Right.
It might still be a surprise to everyone else.
Yeah, I think it will be.
So, have y'all picked out a name yet?
We're not sure. Our other daughter's name is Zelda, and we're not sure if we're going to stick with all Z's. We're not sure. This is one of the names we just didn't think about. We thought we were going to have another girl, to be honest. We just hadn't been thinking about any
Really?
names. Yeah.
So, all right, Zachary.
Yeah.
Is that the name that you were leaning towards?
There's a famous soccer player. His last name is Zidane. We're thinking about that as one of the names, but we're not sure what we're going to do. We might even go with just a normal name.
Okay. Okay. Now, it's funny that you say that your family, or that you're thinking of, you and your wife are thinking about going with all Z's. In my family, it's all D's.
No kidding.
Yeah. My oldest brother is Dan. Next to him is Dean. Then Deanne, my sister. Then David. And then Doug. So there's 5 of us, and we're all D's.
Oh, that's fantastic. And you're the baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the baby in my family as well. Yeah.
So I tell you what, I'm going to put you on hold here for a minute. Let me see if we can get
problem.
Steve on the phone.
Okay, great.
And we can add him in.
Hello.
Hey, Steve.
Yes, sir.
All right, now we got Preston and Steve on the line.
I'm here. What's up, Preston?
I'm doing great, man.
All right, so Steve, you missed out.
What did I miss out on?
Well, Preston just gave everybody some great news, and I'll let him repeat it for you. Repeat it again so that you can hear it. Go ahead.
I actually told Steve yesterday.
Wait.
Oh,
well, thank you. I already know.
Oh, so
yeah, I told him yesterday. It slipped out.
Oh, great. So I'm the last to know then.
Yes, yeah. I get the inside news all the time.
Oh, man. All right. So everybody
congratulations,
knows.
Preston.
Thank you, Steve.
All right. So
awesome.
What's going on with you, Steve?
Well, not much. Today is Saturday. We tend to shut down about 1 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
We start early. We start at 7 in the morning, and basically Saturdays we just kind of tend to customers for pickup and drop-offs, not do much in the back. We're a little backlogged with work, but thank God that we've got work and keeping us busy and keeping our families fed, which is pretty tough in these times because every time I get a call or read the news, there's a shop that closed down because there's no business and they're making having a hard time making ends meet.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy to say that my end, we're doing pretty good, thank God.
Yeah, that's great that you're doing well. Let me ask you this: how many? Well, first of all, how far away from DC are you?
We're about 8 miles to the border of Washington D.C.
Okay.
Falls Church is right outskirts of D.C. We're basically located in Northern Virginia.
Okay. And how many cobblers would you say are in that general area? Not just Falls Church, but in the surrounding areas, including DC.
I don't know the exact numbers, but I could guess about maybe 10 to 15.
Wow, for an area of that population, that's not that many.
Yeah, I mean it's something that, because Maryland, Virginia, and DC are the tri-state. Basically, we are literally a stone throw from the borders of the states.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got Maryland. It's probably maybe not even 5 miles to the border. But unfortunately, with Maryland, businesses have been closing because it was mandatory to shut down.
Mm-hmm.
In Northern Virginia, for example, I didn't shut down a single day this whole year.
Wow.
That this COVID was going on, because my business is not like a hairdresser or a barbershop or a tattoo place where you have to be close to somebody. We can be 5 people inside the shop and they could distance themselves and we could wear masks, So
Right.
The governor, it wasn't mandatory for my business to shut down.
Mm-hmm.
So, but unfortunately, with Maryland area, I'm not sure about DC, but Maryland, there were a lot of shops being closed down because of, the government said, hey, man, we got to shut it down, make sure that this doesn't spread.
Right.
So, to me, this COVID situation was a blessing in disguise, because in January, I literally shut the shop down whole month to catch up with my backlogged work.
Right.
And I was running the shop by myself. So with the shops closing down in Maryland, a lot of employees were looking for help.
Mm-hmm.
So I hired 2 people and a counter help, and I've got an alteration lady that helps me out in some of my jacket repairs. So right now there's 5 of us inside the shop.
Wow.
And we're all staying busy. So this COVID situation, to me, it's been I know it's unfortunate for some people, but it's been a blessing for me and my business.
Right. Preston, how has COVID affected you?
It really hasn't affected me, since I don't have a physical store and I do everything from home.
Right.
So I did notice that a lot more people were trying to send me work for patinas and dye jobs. But luckily and gratefully, it hasn't really affected me at all.
Right.
So it's one of the perks of just being a tiny organization of just one person. So
Yeah. Now, Preston, let me ask you this. Well, all right. How long ago did you start your YouTube channel?
Okay, I started it in 2017,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't post many videos. I posted a video maybe once every 3 months, but I was monetized by YouTube the day my daughter was born. So it was August 11th. I got an email. It said, you've been monetized. And so it took off after August 11th. So
Of this year?
That's of 2019.
Okay.
2019.
So, okay.
Yeah.
That's right. Because your
So
daughter.
it's been a little bit over a year.
Okay.
14
And
months.
all right. And because Steve and I have both watched your channel grow from, I think when we first started noticing it, you were somewhere around, what was it, Steve? Around 8,000?
Yeah, I think it was about 10 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, Steve, how many subs did you have at that point?
I think maybe 35, 40,000, something like that.
Yeah, and
maybe a little bit more.
Yeah. So and Steve, I know you've been on YouTube for about 5 or 6 years, maybe a few years longer than that, huh?
I think I posted my first video in 2007, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
But my videos were for my colleagues. They were not to say I was trying to start a business in YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
because literally not too long ago I started getting monetized, because my boy is 15 now. When he was about 12 or 13, he's like, Dad, how come you're not monetizing your videos? I'm like, what are you talking about? because I had no idea there was this whole other world in
Right.
the YouTube world, you know?
Right.
Anyway, fast forward a year later, one of the videos hits 1 million views, and he comes back, he says, well, are you ready to make some money now? And this is a 13-year-old telling me that, right? And I'm like, you little stinker, you know? So anyway, we set it up, we got monetized, and now I think we're up to 111,000 subscribers.
Wow.
And it's pretty cool that I'm just starting to learn how to do things on YouTube, you know?
Mm-hmm.
This is just barely the beginning.
Right.
But yeah, Preston's channel seemed like it exploded overnight, which
Yeah.
is great, you know?
That's what I was about to say. I mean, you know, within a period of what, about 3 months, we watched Preston's channel grow from about 8,000 to close to 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah. I think the one morning I gained 10,000. The next morning I gained another 5,000, and then another 10,000.
That's incredible.
It is.
And I was like, what's going on here? I had no clue. And at the time I had taken the LSAT. I was preparing to go to law school, but then when it really started to heat up, I thought I have to just take a break for now and pursue whatever this is for as long as I can. So
sure.
I'm at 170,000 since yesterday. I know Trenton and Heath, they're another page. They're going to surpass me soon. They're really exploding as well.
Wow.
I think they have Preston. I think they're 180 something, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, good. Yeah, they're
is
going
this?
really fast. Trenton and Heath. And it's
Trenton and
they're
Heath.
so
yeah.
handsome.
Yeah.
They're so good looking in here. Yeah.
they're good guys. They're a bunch of gentlemen. I think they have passed work towards me plenty of times,
Mm-hmm.
because if it's something they don't do, they'll refer me to the customer. And I can tell you that I get probably an email a week saying that, hey, these two brothers referred me to you.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't do this, or they didn't want to do this. Maybe you can do it. So to me, you know, that says a lot, you know. So
they're
Absolutely.
fantastic. They've done the same for me, and I have nothing but good things to say about them. They're really stand-up guys.
Yeah.
No doubt about
I agree.
it.
Now, Preston, let me ask you this. Now, you said you were getting ready to go to law school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you had a full-time job before you started with YouTube, right?
Yes. During my last year of college, I was working for a real estate firm.
Mm-hmm.
It was commercial, and then they opened a property management branch, which I was working in. And that was kind of what I was doing. And once YouTube took off, I really decided just to put everything down. And a lot of people told me, you're crazy, don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
You're wasting time. But in reality, it felt right, and I felt like I was having fun, and I knew that I had to have fun. I couldn't just live the rest of my life doing something I didn't like. So.
Right.
Yeah, those people don't know what they're talking about, because they're not following their passion.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Because they could never tell you that, because if they knew that you were doing something you loved, they would agree with you, because they don't have that in their life. Okay. Yeah. And you have to follow your passion. And sometimes you're not going to make as much money with your passion, but that always will pay off eventually if you can hang in there.
Absolutely.
Sure. I agree.
Well, let me ask you this, Preston. Did you have the website prior to?
No, I did not.
Okay,
no,
so that's a relatively recent thing.
Yes, it's new. I had nothing. I did not know it. I mean, I've been learning as I have gone along.
Mm-hmm.
I learned to do a mirror shine in 2017. I've just been learning on the job. I'm not very tech savvy, to be honest, at all. Like, This is all new to me. So learning on the job.
Okay. All right. Now, I want to get into some of the questions that it's not very many questions, but a few guys on the Alan Edmonds Facebook group. I posed the question to them, or let them know that we were going to be doing this, and ask them to give some questions. Let's see. Frederick Forget, I guess that's how you pronounce his name. He says, Preston Soto, is your weekend as cool as Steve Dodoclian his Raging Cobra?
Is my weekend car no?
Oh, your weekend car, yeah.
No, I have a little tiny Versa, a Nissan Versa hatchback, with my baby car seat in the back, and there's nothing in the future. My dad always told me, oh, son, when you graduate law school, I'll buy you. I really like this car, the Honda S2000. It's been one of my cars that I've wanted for years. And he told me, if you graduate law school, I'll get you a Honda S2000. So you never know. But no, right now I'm just driving a boring family car. But I like it.
Wait. The S2000, it's a two-seater. Where are you going to put the two babies?
Oh, well, they're going to stay with my mom when I take my wife.
Oh, okay. That's okay. That's okay then.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. Now, my everyday vehicle, I've got a 2008 F-150, and I keep it in pristine condition. Okay. I've got over 350,000 miles on this truck.
You're kidding.
You beat me to it. You beat me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Over 350,000 miles, and I mean, the leather in it still looks great. The paint still looks great. Got to wash it every once in a while because it sits under trees, but at least I can.
My truck is a 2002 Yukon XL, and I've got about 260,000, and I abuse the hell out of this thing. I mean, I haul stuff in it, trash, yard work, shoes, you name it, and it's my work truck, and I abuse the hell. And you know what? It's as strong as an ox. I really don't care what it looks like, and it serves me well, so it's okay.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
All right, Chris. Let's see. Chris Rizak asks. Let's see. This one's for Preston. Do you have any plans to go full shoe design in the future, or develop cobbler skills to do recrafts?
Ooh. There's a cobbler by my home, modern cobblery. I know Steve knows him. His name's Isaac. And I asked him the other day, I was like, I'd like to stop by one day and just give a resole a try, just for fun, for a video. I don't know where it's going to go in the future. I have some ideas, but at some point, maybe I'd like to, at least for fun, learn how to make a shoe, just so I can tell Steve, look, I made this shoe, but I don't know where it's going to lead right now.
Okay.
I have no clue.
Yeah.
It's just all, I really have no idea. I really can't say more. Not that I know more. I just really don't know.
Well, I tell you,
I really don't.
My wife and I have plans to move to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina within the next, sometime between now and the next 5 years. Okay. So we're actually going to be closer to Steve. I could see Steve and I getting together more often in the future, but I'd like to give give that a try as well,
Yeah.
All right.
You guys gotta remember that you're welcome to come anytime. But I'm not a shoemaker.
Well, we know that.
So whatever you're learning, I will be learning with you.
Well, not necessarily to build shoes. We just want to go there and mess up some stuff for your customers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You can come in and we can have some coffee and sit down and chit chat. No problem.
Absolutely. All right, Steve. Same guy asked a question of you. BEDO'S is a family-owned leather repair shop. How do you see the future of small cobbler shops? Do you have an apprentice in training currently?
Well, my dad started it in 1977, and I am the fourth son, the youngest one. There's 5 of us total, 4 boys and 1 girl. And I took over the shop, I would say probably late 80s, when I was about 18, 19 years old. Then he passed away in 91 when I was 24 years old. So I've been doing it since then. And right now I have 2 boys. One's 14, one's 15. And the 15-year-old is doing sneaker patina on the side. So, but am I going to say, okay, you're going to take over the business? No, I'm not, because my dad told me to go get an education, and I said, but I love what I'm doing. He's like, okay, I've said my piece. So you can point a child in the right direction.
Right.
Whether they're going to stay there or not is going to be up to them, and I'm not the one going to force it upon them if they don't want to. So where do I see my business? I'm not sure about the industry, but right now I'm going to be 55 in about 5 months or so, 6 months. Okay, so I don't know how long I'm going to be doing it for, Am I going to pass it to somebody? I don't know. Right now, I don't have anybody to pass that to. Worst case scenario, I sell the business and semi-retire, still do some work, but not own a storefront, if that makes sense.
It does.
So
It does.
it's hard to say, okay, yeah, I've got, you know, family members lined up to take over. It's not it at all. This is it's a lot of work running a business. It's not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, when you're doing administrative work, when you're doing the crafts work, when you're doing customer service, you know, dealing with paying the bills, insurance, it's not for everybody.
Right.
You know, so it's got to be a special person who can handle that. And right now, there's nobody in the future for me to pass it on to. So tomorrow we'll see what happens. You know.
So what do you see as the future for small cobbler shops in general? Just across the country in general.
We have a group that in Facebook. It's called Shoe Repair International, SRI.
Mm-hmm.
This is for cobblers and people who are in the trade. And I'm seeing a lot of young kids. When I say young kids I would say in their early 20s,
mm-hmm.
okay, who are learning the trade and who are slowly kind of getting into the group and getting involved in starting their own businesses. So you're going to see there's going to be a time where the older generation is going to kind of fade away, wander off, and young kids are going to be coming in. Not as many as I like, but I think there's still a handful of young people who are very good at what they're doing.
Right.
And I think that shoe repair is not going to go away. You know, it'll probably dwindle down a little bit, but the ones who stick around are going to be very busy. So,
well, you know, it's amazing. You know, there's so many of the trades that used to be looked down on just, you know, 40, 50 years ago. You know, they're actually considered the artisans of today, you know. I mean, something as simple as guys who you know, upholstery workers, okay?
right.
You know, my father-in-law was an upholstery worker. He owned an upholstery shop, and you know, back then when he was working, I mean, that was just a tradesman, you know, and unfortunately, back then they didn't really make an awful lot of money. But you know, with so many kids wanting to go to college and seek higher degrees and everything, and for a while, I think that you know, working with your hands was kind of looked down upon. But nowadays, you know, the guys like us who work with our hands, we're sought out, and it commands more money. I mean, I look at the money that you get, Steve, for doing recrafts on fine shoes, the money that I get for redoing pool tables, the money
Right.
that Preston gets for you know, doing a mirror shine. You know, these are all things that 40, 50, 60 years ago, you know, they weren't really paid like they are now. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, I can see in the near future where, you know, there's probably going to be I see a resurgence in craft and in the trades and crafts like that.
Well, I think that with any industry, if you really love what you're doing, if it, again, going back to it being your passion,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to do more than what you're expected of. And eventually, the public is going to notice that, and the word of mouth is going to get around. Social media is very important in our business.
Absolutely.
You know? So that's you know, I mean, listen. I got a pair from Scotland the other day, from Scotland to fix a pair of shoes.
Right.
I'm like, is there nobody in Scotland to do this? I'm sure there are, but
Sure.
social media, you know, drove this guy. He said, Steve, I want you to do this. I want you to do that. There's a certain way I want it done, and you're the only one who can do it. Well, I'm not the only one who can do it, but my presence is out there, and therefore it draws those customers to you. And when you do something that is beyond, you know, is more than the expectation, people will eventually know that, hey, you know what, this guy's doing a good job.
Right.
Like, look at Preston's shines.
Sure.
I mean, I can't even do that. I have no patience for that.
Right.
I give up like the first 2 minutes, and I'm like, how the hell did you do that? So that goes back to, if you love what you're doing, you're going to do the best you can, and you're going to have customers.
Preston, how far away has the I know you've gotten shoe shines from all over the place now, but where's the furthest away you've gotten a pair in from?
Let me think here. I mean, I've gotten them over the sea for sure. Europe.
Well, so wait, Preston, remember that customer that
yeah,
you did
yeah,
for?
yeah.
It was Dubai.
Yeah,
it was in Dubai. That's what it was. Yep.
Oh wow,
yeah,
from Dubai.
United Arab Emirates.
Wow.
I've had some stuff like that. Mostly it's from the Midwest to East Coast. There's not a lot of people on the West Coast that, I mean, there are, but we're just so casual out here on the West Coast that
Sure.
some guys just don't do much. But most from the Midwest and the East Coast. But I have gotten orders from overseas for sure. Canada, Europe, stuff like that for sure.
Okay. All right, let's see. Let's move on. Next question. This one is from Mason Andrew Coates. Why don't shoe companies list the type of leather, example, chrome excel, corrected grain, full grain, etc., comprising the uppers in more detail in their labeling? Knowing this could better inform the customer or consumer on how to properly care for their shoes. I'll give that one to both of y'all.
Steve, go ahead. I think you might have a better answer than I do.
I mean, it's tough to answer that question because I'm not a company that makes shoes, but I think that lately the consumers are getting smarter and smarter. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they want basically to do the maintenance themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But shoe manufacturers, they're not hip to that just yet. I think it's a great idea, to give the consumer an option to do something themselves rather than take it to a professional
Right.
to do it. So I think eventually with enough, people requesting that, the manufacturers will catch on. And it's not too costly, I don't think, to put a small card with information inside. Okay, this is how you take care of this particular leather, And I think over time, some manufacturers do that, but not in general overall. It should be the standard now these days because there's a lot of people who are handy, who want to experiment, who want to shine their shoes, who want to take care of them, And I think over time, it should be a standard with manufacturers to do that. It's bettering. I mean, I think it kind of it betters the whole industry when you give a person opportunity to take care of their items. They're going to go out and buy products, for example, it's something to do with the industry itself, the polishes, the shines, the waxes, the conditioners,
Right.
And if these manufacturers were smart enough, to do that, and they could push their own products to the consumer for maintenance,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I think eventually that'll catch on.
Do you think any of it has to do with manufacturers still trying to pull the wool over customers' eyes as to why they don't say that? Because I do know that let's take Allen Edmonds or Alden or any of the other entry level high end shoes up to say Edward Green or John Lobb or something like that. They put it out there. They let you know what it is you're buying. But some of the lesser expensive brands out there that try to stay, let's say, below $200 a pair. Okay. Do you think they're still trying to kind of pull the wool over people's eyes and don't want them to know the differences between leathers? Because, I mean, I still see tags on stuff, genuine leather. Well, I know for a fact when you see the words genuine leather on something, that is the cheapest grade of leather there is.
Well, that's the way that to fool the consumer by those words.
Mm-hmm.
People think the genuine leather. It's really not. Most of the time, it's split leather. Well, they'll split the hide and they'll take that surface, sand it down, and put almost like a vinyl coating on the surface.
Right.
And that's the corrected grain, I guess you want to call that. It's something that, there's a lot of companies who are making inferior products that the consumers have no idea what they are.
Right.
When they're not educated with that genuine leather. All they know, it's a genuine leather, But like you said, Doug, that's the worst. That's the worst leather that could be is
Sure.
genuine leather,
Yeah.
But maybe that's the reason they don't want the consumers to know all that, because then it'll show that their products are inferior,
Yeah. I mean, look, I've got my laptop open right now, and I can guarantee I haven't done it, but I can just about guarantee if I go over to Alan, let's do it. I'm going to go over to Alan Edmonds' website, and I want to see if they say exactly what their shoes, what grade of leather. Let's see, Alan Edmonds, EDMONDS.
Most will say, but most will have their own wording to confuse the consumer.
Well, I know if you say the word top grain leather, that's completely different than split leather or suede or genuine leather.
Right.
So let's see. I'm going to go over to men's dress shoes and Strand cap toe Oxford, and in their description, handcrafted. Let's see. Premium imported calfskin leather upper. They're not being.
When it's calfskin. So don't forget that. Just like everything in life, you have your good, your bad, your mediocre. Even though it says calfskin, that doesn't mean that it's premium leather.
Exactly.
Okay, but it's not bad leather.
Well, I agree.
But it's just, unfortunately, when they try to make leather perfect looking, well, they've messed with, nature, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have leather 100% unless you're really careful about raising your cattle, with no branding on the hide. You have rubber fences, for example, so there's no scratches on the skins.
Sure.
You have a veterinary doctor who's on full time on the farm where he takes care of the animals, so there's no ticks,
Yep.
no imperfections on the leather themselves. So there's a lot of there's a huge process that this cowhide it'll go through before you see it on the shoes.
Absolutely. And I'm sure there's a huge difference between, say, a 6 month to a year old calf as opposed to a 12-year-old steer that has been brushing up against barbed wire for 12 years. He's going to have scars all across his hide, and tick marks.
Absolutely. So most farms, they start tagging the ears now.
Mm-hmm.
They won't brand their cows. They will not put a huge number or initial or something on the rear of the cow, which is almost like the best part of the cow,
mm-hmm.
best part of the hide, in the rear quarters there. So, but there are still farms who do that, but most of the newer farms, I guess, I'm not too familiar with the details, but I know that for a fact that they tag the ears of their stock. So for that reason,
I'll tell you, I do holster work. You both of you guys know this. I make holsters, and I buy a lot of veg tan leather, and the better veg tan leather that I buy is going to be Herman Oak or Wicked and Craig or something like that. And I'm sure, Preston, this might be a little lost on you since you don't really do the leather work. But I'm sure, Steve, you know both of those names, right?
Yeah. I have their products.
Okay.
They're very good products.
Right. Now, on the same hand, I can go over to Tandy Leather and buy veg tan leather from them. And one thing I have noticed, and that's with both Herman Oak and with Wicked and Craig, if I buy a side, there is never going to be a brand mark on it. There may be some marks from tick bites and stuff like that, but there's never going to be a brand mark on it.
Nope.
As opposed to buying the leather from Tandy, which I know most of it comes out of Mexico, and
Right.
most of it, almost always has at least some brand mark on it.
Well, with me, I used to do a lot more custom work. Like I used to do furniture also, and there used to there would come a time where we'd get the hide in, and I've always told the tannery, hey, inspect the hide before you send it out. If it's got large marks, if it's got prints on it, scratches, I don't want it, because I do. For example, you do a lot of cushions, right? It's a 2 foot by 2 foot square C cushion, and you can't have any imperfections on there.
Absolutely.
If you got to work around that. You don't want to waste a quarter of the hide because of the imperfections in leather.
Right.
So, but you got to be always careful whenever you're buying large, hides like that. You got to make sure that you're going to have some areas like on the outskirts of it where the belly and the neck is, where the grain is not as tight, it's a little fleshy, but majority of that, the middle, the back, the shoulders, need to be nice and clean for you if you're doing bigger projects. So, absolutely. But I think when it comes to shoes, you can, when you're cutting the pattern, you can always work around those little imperfections because the shoes have smaller pieces to them. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So,
sure.
That might work with that.
Now, this is a question for both of y'all. I actually don't know the answer to this one. This is from Darren Stanger. He says, and this is his second question. I'll ask his second question first since we're already on leather. He says, does all shell cordovan have an acrylic cover on it, and what is the purpose of it? What would happen if you removed it?
So,
Preston,
here's what I've noticed. No, not all shell cordovan has an acrylic covering on it, but I think it's also been overplayed a little bit. I've seen it on Alden for sure. Alden's color 8 is super dark, super purple, and it's hard to lighten, as opposed to Allen Edmonds, which is a little bit more red, and it's a lot easier to lighten. You could buy a brand new pair, brush it up that evening, and you'll already start seeing a lightening effect. I just saw it the other day. So the acrylic might be, I have no clue because I don't work at Alden, but it might be to add uniformity to the feel of the shell. It might be to protect the shell. It might be to add resistance to the shell so it doesn't turn light so quickly. As far as I know, you can remove it and there won't be an issue. I've seen people do it and people who don't. It's up to you. I always tell people I don't think it needs to be removed personally. Some people say it reduces blooming. I haven't seen that to be the case. I've seen shell bloom no matter what. So I think it's really a personal choice. I think in the shell cordovan world, there's still a lot of debate on how to shine it, how to care for it. There's people who say you don't need any products. There's people who say you do. So I think shell cordovan is not as well understood as normal calfskin simply because...
Well, it's not a leather.
Right, it's not a leather, and Horween produces it, and I know other tanneries in Japan and Italy do too, but it's not yet. It's getting extremely popular now, but it's not as common as calfskin is, and it's been around for a long time. So I don't think the acrylic finish is something you need to remove. If you want, you can, but you will definitely see a difference between Alden Color 8 and Allen Edmonds Color 8. They are definitely different.
That raises a question. Do you guys know? I know that Allen Edmonds uses Horween exclusively for their shell cordovan. Do either of you guys know who Alden uses?
Horween as well.
Really?
But here's what I heard. Yeah, I had a store manager who's not working at Allen Edmonds anymore. He told me, and I don't know if this is true. I think you'd have to take it with a grain of salt. But he told me that Allen Edmonds pays Horween less for their B hides, their B grade hides. So
wow.
And Alden and Carmina pay more money for their A grade hides. And I don't know if that's true, but that's what he told me. And he was a manager at Allen Edmonds. So I don't know.
You know that there are going to be B hides. That's all it
for
is.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So there's always a customer for a product. Okay. And I think that with Alden, I have removed acrylic finishes from a few pairs of shoes from customers, not my own, but customers. I don't think I have a pair of Alden shells. I have some shells, but not from Alden. So some people specifically come in to where you have that removed. They don't like it. I don't know why, but they don't. So a little bit of rubbing alcohol will remove that, and then come back and you put some conditioners on top of that. You're
Venetian
fine.
cream?
You get nice Venetian or Big Four is what I use.
Okay.
So either one works fine. And I tend to rub it with my fingers and then come back and buff it on my high-speed buffers. But with light colors, light shells, you got to be careful. You can't do that. Okay, you can't buff it too much on the machine, or else with the heat, sometimes it darkens up. So specifically with the color 8 is more of an issue than any other lighter colors or light colors. So like greens and blues, for example. But more and more of the color 8s that I've done than other colors to remove that acrylic from it.
Now, Preston, Preston, you had said something about Alan Edmonds possibly using a lesser, paying less for their
Right.
shell. I'm in talks with one of the Alan Edmonds reps to see about getting her on here. Basically doing the same thing we're doing right now, and just doing a podcast with her. That's something I'll have to ask her about. Assuming I can. She may see this and say, I ain't getting on there. I'm not answering that question.
But you got to remember that I don't think that you can put her in a position on a podcast.
That's true. That's true.
Answer that question.
That's true.
If you
I might ask her ahead of time.
Yeah, exactly. You speak to her ahead of time. Make sure you're clear up with her.
Yeah.
She's not.
No, trust me. I wouldn't throw that out there at her.
Okay, gotcha. I know you would.
No, she's too good to us in the group. So,
I agree.
Yeah,
so,
she is.
And I'm not gonna mention any names right at the moment, but if she comes on, then the rest of the audience.
Anyway.
Well, but. Most of the guys from the group that are going to be watching this, they know who she is, but
Sure.
for other people, they might not know. So we're not going to say anything. When and if she comes on, I'll then everybody else can find out who she is. But anyway, okay. So Darren's other question, he says, does a storm welt really give better weather protection than normal welt, or is it just decoration?
Okay, well, I don't know. I know Steve's going to have a really informative opinion, but. And from what I've experienced, it does not make an actual difference, because once the shoe is Goodyear welted, it's essentially waterproof. And I've tested this a million times, because you can fill up a Goodyear welted shoe with water and it will fill it up like a cup.
Mm-hmm.
No water's getting in, no water's getting out. So I don't know if that storm welt is actually, it might serve to not allow moisture in between, the welt and the actual upper. That's probably something it could do, is prevent some moisture from getting in there, but actually preventing water from getting inside the shoe to your sock, it won't do that.
Okay. Steve?
So what you have to realize is that the regular welt is stitched on to the uppers, and the storm welt or split welt has a vertical piece that's aligned with the uppers. So either way, water will seep in over that vertical piece, or if that vertical piece wasn't in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Dress shoes are not meant to be soaked in water. Okay? So if you're standing in a puddle, no matter what you have, will absorb in.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's a storm welt or it's a regular welt. Okay? So if it's your regular walking through the rain, mild, sprinkle and stuff, the water's not going to seep through.
Right.
Whether we have regular welt or you have storm welt, okay? But if you're standing in a puddle, it's going to absorb no matter what.
So what's the advantage of a storm welt then? Or is it just
I don't
decoration?
I don't know if it's yeah, exactly. I don't think it's structural issues. It's just visually, it has a beefier look to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's structural issues or not. Now, I have seen, I can't recall what manufacturer it was. They had put some sort of a membrane between the welt and the uppers, almost like a waterproofer, like a water-type seal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a very thin piece of foam or something. Now, something like that, water's not going to seep through as fast. But majority of those stone welts, they're visually just more beefier looking, not really structural issues.
You know, now I'm going to ask Steve this on a similar note. Now, I've got a pair of Alden Indies. What is the advantage in turning their 270 Welt shoe, the Indies, what's the advantage in turning them from 270 to 360 Goodyear?
Well, to me, I did that with my boots. It gave me about half-inch wider heels.
Mm-hmm. And I've seen you do it a few times on video too. So, and I
yeah,
like the way it looks.
So for me, structurally, it gave me more of a surface to stand on.
Mm-hmm.
Not that the regular ones are like stiletto heels, no, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, that's mainly why I did mine, and I wanted that look to continue behind the heel.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time I did it with my boot, I wanted to see if I could do it. Okay, and from then I've done quite a few of them, and I think it changes the look of the boot itself.
It does.
So,
It does give it a more beefy look.
Yeah, I think that's first. You know, just the change in the looks. I don't know if it affects anybody else as far as their walking pattern, you know, but for me, it's very comfortable. My boots are over 8 years old, and I've resold them 3 times, and I wear them 12, 14-hour days without realizing I've got them on. So,
Gotcha.
And you know, Doug, they're very heavy to begin with.
Oh, they are. They are. I love mine.
This adds more weight to the boot itself, and I don't know. I personally like the way it looks when it goes all the way around the heels.
Now, I've got a little issue with mine. I've got narrow ankles, and so when I go to with those speed hooks that are on there, I find when I get to the very last one, the shoelace always wants to slip off of it because they're almost touching each other. So I'm gonna have to send my Indies to you and have you cut back and add in some leather over the top.
So with my boots, when I first got them, I didn't like them at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was lacing them up all the way, and they were rubbing the hell out of my ankles, my shins almost, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I called a buddy of mine I bought the boots from. I said, hey, I think I'm going to return these boots back. He goes, what's going on? I said, my shins and the hairs around my ankles is killing me because it's just rubbing it raw. He asked me if I was lacing it all the way. I said, well, of course I am because you've got hooks. He says, try to not lace the last one.
Really?
And ever since then, I don't lace the last one.
Okay.
And I've had no issues with rubbing around my ankles. Maybe I've got sensitive ankles. I don't know.
Do you find that the speed hooks are a little close together on the Indies?
No, I don't have any problem with my laces. When I lace my boots up, they stay laced until I get home.
No, I mean just the spacing from one hook to the next.
No, no, they're standard size.
Well, because I have a pair of Allen Edmonds Alpines, and I've got a pair of the Indies, and I've noticed that the spacing. Well, now the Alpines only have 2 hooks on them. The Indies have 4, but the Alpines, the spacing is further apart between hooks. Weird.
Yeah, but that shouldn't make a difference in why you're lacing. Why you're lacing? You know, last one was coming apart.
Oh, no. It has nothing to do with that. I'm just saying. Sometimes I use a little bit. Well, I use a little bit thicker shoelace too, it's a little bit difficult to you know.
Now it's possible that your speed hook has bent a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's too open. That's why it might come loose.
Yeah, and I've actually crimped it back tighter.
Yeah, that happens because if it gets caught on something, it's going to bend back.
Yep.
Now, the ones I normally replace, I replace them with solid brass speed hooks.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't happen with the ones that I replace them with. You can't bend those.
Well,
They're very solid.
be expecting my indies to be coming into you eventually,
Anytime.
sooner rather than later.
Anytime.
All right, so we're getting into, we're 51 minutes into this now. Let's see. Let's I'll ask both of y'all. Is there anything? What are y'all's plans for Thanksgiving? And what are y'all's plans for the rest of the year? I know what Steve's going to say, but so I'll let Preston go first on this.
Okay, so for Thanksgiving, we're going to go to my in-laws' house this year. And my wife has 6 siblings, and she's number 7, and it's a big old event. So we're just going to do that. And I always tell people once Thanksgiving comes around, it's a vacation till the end of the year. So I'm probably just going to spend time with family and then welcome in 2021.
Is that going to be in Southern California? Y'all all there in Southern Cal?
Yeah, in San Diego. We don't usually travel anywhere because San Diego is where you travel to if you want to go on vacation.
We're
already there. We're already there. So we usually just to visit family and friends and do stuff like that. So it's not a huge thing.
Go ahead.
I have been to San Diego, so you're right about that.
Yeah. I've been there too. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, we'd rather be poor here than actually have money in another state. So I always tell my wife, get used to beans and rice. I tell her because that's all we're getting.
Hey, that sounds like living here in New Orleans.
Oh yeah.
How'd you know what I was cooking for dinner tomorrow night?
Yeah, beans and rice.
That's it. All right, Steve, your turn.
As long as it fills your belly, that's all that matters.
Yeah,
that's right.
What I tell her.
Well, we tend to get together. I've got a big family also, all on my mom's side. I mean, we're so big that we can't fit in one house. So there's always a few houses, people get together.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to take Thursday off. That's it. The rest of the week, I'm kind of reorganizing the shop, remodeling a little bit, and this is about the only try to be a downtime that I can do that. But other than that, it's normal for me, normal day to day. And the rest of the year, I'm pretty much booked up with with projects and repairs, and just take a day or two off for Thanksgiving. That's about it. Spend it with some family.
Any good videos that you guys have planned for the future? In the near future?
I've got maybe 10 lined up, to be honest with you, and
wow.
I just took a pair of floor chimes in. That's a shell cordovan. Got to do the footbed. He wants, nails, all the nails in the heel, double V cleat, new storm welt. I mean, you name it. It's a complete from bottom and up. Some bags, restorations.
More Louis Vuitton.
Tons of repairs to do. Huh?
More Louis Vuitton.
There's some Louis Vuittons. There's some Gucci's. I've got one project I'm doing now. It's kind of a touching project. It's a pair of slippers, believe it or not. Okay. The guy brought them in, and I looked at them. I'm like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Why don't you give yourself another pair?" And the guy's like, "Listen, Steve," he goes, "My wife is ill, and this is the slippers that she wears for the past 10 years that she's going through this. And this is about the only thing that makes her happy."
Mm-hmm.
So I took the project on. We are in the middle of getting her fitted. So hopefully once it's done, we'll have a reaction. Basically, she's going to be surprised when she sees them.
Oh, wow.
Right now during the fitting process, we're keeping her blindfolded so she doesn't see them.
Gotcha.
So this is kind of a touching video for me because the lady's sick, and this is the only thing that her husband can do for her to give her some peace and comfort.
Right.
So that should be coming up in about a week or so.
Yeah.
That's great.
What about you, Preston? You got any videos planned?
So I have my review series continuing with Justin Fitzpatrick, his new JF line. I have Why by Yeosol coming up, and then a couple of others, more from TLB Mallorca. And then a lot of people have been sending me this video that they want me to react to. It's a shoe shine video from this, I think this person teaches you how to shine their shoe using hairspray.
Okay.
So everyone's like, I want you to watch the video and tell us what you think. So I'm going to do my first reaction video to this But
That'd be
chicken is
cool.
going to be pretty.
That
Yeah,
sounds
and then,
interesting.
yeah, it's going to be one of those fun ones. And then I have a video coming up from the Bondo One, Steve and Andy.
Yeah.
They sent me a pair of shoes that were really. So someone bought a pair of shoes at Allen Edmonds. They tried to do a patina, but they ruined them and they returned them back. And Allen Edmonds took the return. And so Andy had this
Wow.
pair. They said, "Why don't we send it over and you try to fix them as best you can and try to,
Wow.
So I'm doing that. And other than that, I'm just going to continue, doing videos on that. But I still have like 10 lined up. So
Yeah.
hopefully I have a lot more stuff coming up.
Now, real quick,
those guys are awesome. The Bondo one.
I was just about to say that. For those of you who don't know, if you go onto eBay, there's a particular seller. There's a very specific seller. He goes by the username Debondo1, DEBONDO 1. Is it DE or just D?
It's DABON.
Yeah.
The Bondo DA. Yep.
Yeah, DABONDO, and then the number 1 behind it. I believe they buy the vast majority, the bulk of Allen Edmonds returns, and then they resell them. And they have been fantastic. I tell you, and I'm not going to tell you the price that I got them for, but when they found out that Amy and I were getting married, right before or right after I had said that we were getting married, I was looking for a pair of boots. And I found the pair of Alpines, and I mean, you would not believe the deal that they cut me on these. They were going to give them to me, but I wasn't going to let them do that. But
they're very reasonable.
They really are.
I think they've got like over 3,000 pairs in their stock, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
it's a huge operation.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah,
and they ship lightning fast.
Yeah, they do. They ship, and I believe aren't they out of North Carolina?
I think they are. Yeah,
I'm not sure where they are.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're out of North Carolina, but they are lightning fast with their shipping. Their customer service is fantastic. Even before they got into the Allen Edmonds group as a seller. Because they joined the group as under their eBay name, but even before then, they recognized me from the group, and I've bought other pairs of shoes, and they'll put little notes in there, thanks for doing such a great job with the Allen Edmonds group and everything, and they really are they're very conscientious of who they're dealing with and of their customers in general. And just fantastic service. So if you're looking for a used pair of Allen Edmonds, I would highly recommend them. So
I agree.
Anyway, I think that's going to be about it. Anything you guys want to say before we wrap this up? Don't everybody speak at once.
Steve, go on ahead. You first.
I didn't even hear what Doug said. You got to speak into the microphone, Doug.
All right. Is there anything that either one of y'all want to say before we wrap this up? Take this moment now or forever hold your peace.
Well, no, I don't have much to say. I think we talked enough. I think this is a great idea to get the word out. So I think you've done well, and maybe do more in the future, man. That's it.
Yeah, I do have plans of doing more of this with you guys. Like I said, with the Allen Edmonds rep, I've actually got one of you guys know I do pool tables primarily. One of my cloth one of the cloth manufacturers. I've got a podcast in the works with him as well. So I want to do this much more often. So, Preston.
Let's see here. I think this is a really good idea. I had a lot of fun. I just want to thank everyone who's going to be tuning in. And everyone who watches the channel. I mean, our channels have just been really supportive, and I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, and I want to, I want to thank both of you guys. If it hadn't been for both of you guys, my channel, I just broke 1,000. I know, I'm talking to two guys with close to, one's over 100,000 subscribers, the other one's almost at 200,000, and here I am, I'm just getting over 1,000. But if it weren't for you two guys, I'd still be at like 50 or 60 right now. So, I want to thank you guys, from the bottom of my heart for everything
you
that
had a
y'all
lot
have
to
done.
do with that too. Don't forget. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Good
Well,
for you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So, anyway, well, we're going to wrap this up now. If you guys are interested, if anybody listening wants to get onto the Alan Edmonds group on Facebook, it's Alan Edmonds Enthusiasts. The three of us, Preston, Steve, and myself, are all three moderators on there. You can find either one of us there anytime, so we welcome you to join the group, ask us questions, and we will be doing this again in the future. So,
Fantastic.
all right, well, we'll talk with you guys later, and I'll see you online later on this evening.
Okay, take care, everybody. Bye bye.
All right, y'all
Have a
take
good
care.
one.